I'm Suzanne. I'm a writer, an author, and a teacher.
And I'm Mychal. I am a sommelier, tarot card reader, and former ballerina.
Welcome to All the Woo, where today it's extra for extraterrestrials.
Definitely extra.
I wish they were, covered head to toe in sequins, but whatever.
Maybe they are. We don't know for sure. There might be some out there.
It's true. It's true.
As always, we'd like to give you a little reminder that we want this to be a safe space for you, where we are sharing our own knowledge and experiences on these topics in a non-judgmental way, in order to at least be entertaining. So whether you're super deep into the woo or just woo curious, we hope that we are the woo for you.
So I see that our glasses look a little bit different than they normally do. I don't think wine comes in this color.
No. Well, no. I was just making sure that it doesn't. I was checking all the boxes.
So we are drinking Chartreuse?
Yes.
Because
Chartreuse.
aliens are green.
Yes. Well, and Chartreuse, to be fair, comes in two colors. It comes in green and it comes in yellow. And just so the audience knows, Suzanne has never had Chartreuse before, so this is going to be a new experience that I'll tell you a little bit about it quickly. So it is an herbed liqueur. It does have a sweetness to it, yes. It is a higher alcohol content for sure. The green typically is known for being a little bit more herbaceous. The yellow is known for being a little bit softer. And nobody knows exactly what herbs are used in there. They are made by monks who keep the recipe secret.
They got it from aliens.
They did. And even at that, there's only 2 monks who know the recipe of what goes into it. So kind of like that is the fail-safe. And it's very limited on the amount that they can make because of this.
And I'm guessing they have a fail-safe plan in case
both are
monks
in the same place. Yeah. They have a designated survivor. I think that's kind of how it operates. At one, they can't both be in the same place at one time kind of deal. But it has become very popular over the past couple years. It's used a lot in a lot of mixed beverages, and for that reason, it's become harder to come across. You can't find it that often out and about in the wild. And so...
And we're just drinking it straight.
We are. We are just doing it neat. It's actually really good on its own. I recommend it with dessert. It's actually a really good way to enjoy it. But we're doing green because, I feel like there's a correlation there. So, okay, Suzanne.
Extraterrestrials.
I'm really excited. She's picking it up.
Okay, cheers.
We're cheersing. We're eye contacting. Yes, okay. And sip. What are your thoughts? Oh, I see a face. It's strong. I don't know that she's a fan.
Oh. Holy Mercury, what is in that?
I'm sorry, Suzanne. I'm sorry.
It's like a cross between, I don't know, everything that is made for dental products.
Oh, but there's no mintiness.
Pureed together. It's got the consistency of like cough syrup.
It is pretty viscous, yes.
And it has some part of a tree, whether it's a pine tree. It got some sort of Arak,
yes,
anise,
Sambuca-ish,
Retsina, Ouzo kind of vibe to it.
True, but not as much, not as strong as that. Like, there's definitely other things in there.
True, however.
Yeah, not your bag. I get it.
No. So,
I guess I'm having 2 servings over here. Stan's just trying to get me liquored up for this topic. Okay, for all of you who have been concerned through the magic of podcasting, we have gotten Suzanne a different beverage so she doesn't dehydrate.
Yes. Or, turn into a tree from drinking one.
It's okay. It's all right. So we have her something else. I'm still here with the Chartreuse for her. Yeah.
She's holding true to the extraterrestrials.
Yes, exactly.
So this is basically going to be mostly Mychal telling stories and mostly me being like, that scared me. That freaked me out. I didn't like that. Aliens, ooh. So
Aliens. Suzanne says this is my favorite topic. We were like,
it kind of is.
I literally have not prepped for this subject whatsoever. I'm just going to tell you all that right now.
She is just doing this off the cuff because
Off the
that
cuff.
is how she rolls. She can talk aliens anytime.
At the drop of a hat.
Yeah. If you meet her on the street and you're like,
Aliens. I'll be like, ooh, what kind?
which is where we're actually going to start.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mychal,
Yes.
what kind of aliens are there?
Well, there's many discussions about this. As you might think, majority of people are familiar with the little green men with the big eyes. That's what everybody kind of thinks of when they think of aliens. And those are typically known as the Greys, who are also known as Zeta Reticuli, getting very specific. But there are other races too, because, our galaxy is vast and there are many planets, and also our universe is much bigger than that. So that being said, I think
So really, Earth is like the kid who, out of the entire town, is the only one who hasn't gotten their driver's license yet?
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, we have not zoomed around, or there's actually debate on that even. But on top of that, so you have the little green Greys, which are not green, they're gray. And then you have the tall whites, which are known to be exceptionally tall, venturing around the 7-foot kind of thing, look very human, but
Are those the
Pleiadians. A lot of people associate them with being Pleiadians from the Pleiades, yes.
I know I've had people tell me that I must be a starseed from the Pleiades because I'm tall and
You have blonde hair.
yeah.
I feel like that's very broad.
I feel like that covers most, Scandinavian countries.
I think so. Then you have little short blue guys who look almost semi-trollish. They're known for wearing hoods, and they are known for working with the Greys on average. You have the Reptilians, which is another...
Those are the ones that Whitley Strieber wrote about, right?
No, Whitley Strieber wrote about the Greys.
Oh, okay.
And the little blue guys together.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's a lot. And then there's more beyond it. There's those that are supposed to look like a praying mantis, like your favorite movie, Encounters of the Fourth Kind.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
There we go, yes.
Yes, dear
Yes.
listener, I saw that when I was a kid, and I slept with my lights on for 6 months.
Yeah, not her favorite movie.
And also gave me just a fear of things turning on without turning them on deliberately,
Yes.
which, if you live in a house that has electricity now, can be a little jarring.
Anytime. Yeah, well, and at the end of that, all the different kinds that you see the short little gray guys, but then you see taller versions of the gray guys.
Wait a minute, there's aliens at the end of I was
Yes.
underneath my seat, literally, in the movie theater.
Yeah, that's like the whole lead up, is that they come down and they're friendly and all the things.
Yeah,
Suzanne didn't make it that far. She didn't make it that far. That's okay. That's okay.
I did watch a lot of Mars Attacks.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That is fun.
So anyway,
yes.
that's just so the aliens that you have interacted with, and just so you know, gentle listener, this is one of the reasons why when Mychal and I travel together,
Suzanne refuses to share a room with me. We just had to get a hotel room for something that we're going to in the next month or so, and Suzanne's like, no offense, but I don't want to share a room with you.
Between the fairies and the ghosts and just all the things. And so Mychal was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not, there's ghosts and there's aliens and there's other things.
All the other things.
And I think my voice went up a full octave, and there was
Other things? What
some
other things?
language involved where it was like, what do you mean other things? So, yeah, not rooming with her.
Sorry. I mean, I get the whole bed to myself. It's great.
But we also have a friend who is a medical empath, and she went to Italy and ended up staying in an old hotel and kept having them change her room because she kept trying to, get away from all the spirits that were trying to contact her and keeping
Yeah.
her awake at night. And I think she was there for 7 days, and she got like one night's sleep.
It can happen. It can be, that can
So
happen.
we have gone away from the aliens, but
We have digressed.
We have digressed or progressed. Who knows? So what are the ones that you know up close and personal? And also, just because this is relevant, was it last summer that the military was like, yeah, there have been aliens around that we've known about and worked with since the 1950s or something?
Yeah, that there was the congressional hearing, I think, about disclosure, or I forget the terminology specifically utilized there, but essentially David Grusch, who has been a member of the military high up, was saying his concern is that there's parts of the government who are not aware of what's going on, who should be aware of, because this is also how we're dealing with it. There should be something officially set up of how we're dealing with it.
Besides Space Force?
Besides Space Force.
Which is actually a real thing.
Yes, besides that. So meaning that there's like a diplomatic arm that deals with these things and that it's not being dealt with correctly.
Is this the branch of the military that you're going to volunteer for?
I don't think they would have me. I don't know. So far, nobody's contacted me. I feel like they would have contacted me so far.
I don't know. This might be the way we're reaching out.
Well, maybe. Let the military know. Well, what I am going to say also, just like humans, we're not just like one. There's a lot of different versions of humans, and that we all look a little different. And so aliens, it's the same thing. So you have different races, and so there might be different physical features to them. So there's variations within, and then also not everybody is on the same page or the same agenda, right? Mm-hmm. So to think of it that way too, they're just as diverse as humans are in that way. To backtrack,
not what it looks like in the movies,
right? So for me, what I've dealt with, kind of a little bit of everything. So yeah, the little gray guys, yes. The little blue guys, yes. I have apparently an Arcturian and then also Pleiadian, but I feel like the Pleiadians work with everybody. They're known for being really nice.
So they are Scandinavians.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why that makes them Scandinavians, but
oh, just kind of open-minded and willing to work with anyone.
Sure. You mean there's Switzerland?
Or Switzerland, yeah.
Well, according to what I understand, the Pleiadians are known for trying to really elevate humanity on a spiritual level. So that's how they work with a lot, and why they work with so many people in a lot of ways. It doesn't mean that they're out there abducting people. Chances are probably not. It's more about raising a vibration and consciousness level, and that's what they're trying to do.
So is there anybody who is out there abducting people?
Apparently, yes. And
we don't know which of our paper doll community of aliens that is.
True. Well, yes. Yes. But that's a broad question. But then there's also people who will say as well that also, not all of this abduction stuff is being done by aliens, that some of the abduction stuff is being done by humans as well.
And that is the pause of a nonplussed Suzanne.
I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah. So...
to make it look like aliens?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Under the guise of aliens, yes.
There are so many plot points running through my brain right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, so continue with your personal experiences.
What would you like to know, Suzanne? When did I come to realize that this
there
has
you
been
go.
a part of
where
my life?
Where was that cosmic 2x4?
So apparently this has been happening. I realized as an adult more and more. I was looking at times when I was a child. And so like one morning, like I'm not a sleepwalker. I don't do that at all. And there was one morning I remember I woke up in the middle of my bedroom, just all cozied up in like a little fetal position on my rug in the middle of my room, and I just woke up that way. I had no idea how I got there. So that was one thing which you could say, oh, you rolled out of your bed, and I think that I'm like, oh, As a kid, I literally woke up and like, oh, that's weird. I didn't even feel falling on the floor, but okay. And it wasn't like I was right next to my bed either. I was quite far away.
Did you have blankets with you and a
No.
pillow? You
No.
were just curled up on the floor.
Just curled up on the floor. And then another time I was sitting on the floor in my closet of all places, because I had a kind of a larger closet. And I remember I was looking at my foot, and because I didn't have any shoes or socks on, and there was like this bump underneath my skin, and it kind of looked like the tip of a pencil.
Now, I have actually extracted pencil from my body.
Yeah, that I have not ever recalled dropping or having. Okay, but the next part is weird. So it looked like the tip of a pencil. So to give you kind of idea of how big and the size and the color. And so I was like, oh, that's weird. So I went to touch it, and I touched it, and it moved. And I went to touch it again, and it moved. Like it was moving around under my skin, and I was like chasing it around my foot till eventually it just disappeared into my foot. I was like, oh, well, that's weird. Okay. And yeah, that was it. I don't know what happened to that. Okay. So then I also have a memory of one night not being able to go to sleep, and around the same age where I was waking up in the middle of the floor, that I started to realize that I would sleep on my stomach and always away from the outside of my bed because I didn't want to open my eyes and see what was around me in my bed for so many reasons, as you might guess. So I was turned away towards the wall, and I was really scared because, like the little gray guys, I remember that that's who it was, and that I was feeling my hair moving around like they were playing with the back of my head in my hair.
You knew they were touching you?
Yeah, I was very scared. I do remember that. And then also as an adult, I started to, well, even so, I'd have dreams growing up always that they were there and that they were coming. And I remember being scared and trying to get away from. I remember I would have so many dreams of me waking up in the middle of night, looking out my window and seeing them there, and that was my dream a lot of the time, and that me then trying to get away from and really kind of fighting with them, telling them that they did not have a right. That was a lot of my dream.
Boundary issues.
Yeah, and so then as an adult, I remember very clearly having a day, I was in the bath, and all of a sudden I had this super sharp pain in my nasal cavity area. Like it was so intensely strong. And I get migraines a lot, but this was a very different kind of pain.
Mm-hmm.
And it eventually subsided, but it was like I had to stop what I was doing and be like, ow. Like it was up in the bone area. And that...
Did you see anything at that time?
No, I didn't. But that night I had a dream that I didn't see the little gray guys, but I did see the little blue guys, and they were there, and I was there with two other people, and they started to play a flute that, like, kind of fun, dancing around, playing the flute. Isn't it nice? And we all kind of laid down.
I feel like I've seen this on Doctor Who, and it didn't go well.
Well, they went and they did something. I knew that they did something, but the music was kind of like to subdue or put
sedate you?
Yes. And then afterwards, I got up, and the person who was kind of the head of it, who also happened to be a bald gentleman, I think, just to look more human, and I went and I yelled at him. I literally went up to him and yelled at him. I'm like, what did you do? And he's like, we removed something because it wasn't needed anymore. And I said, that you have no right to do that without asking me or telling me what's going on. I deserve to know what is going on. I'm like, you can't just come in and do that to me. And he said, I understood. He's like, I understand. I was like, okay. And then I went on to, in that dream, to go outside and look at the stars. And then I was called into a classroom to learn how to read symbols on tarot cards, of all things. This is before I was actually doing tarot readings.
There's just so much woe in this story.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even, I am definitely here with you, gentle listener, but I have nothing to
I understand this
add
is an
other than just
extreme.
like, whoa.
Yeah, this is an extreme. I understand. This is actually a subject that I don't share a lot of my personal things on. So this really is
You really are coming way out of the closet.
Yeah, because people, although they may be into woo-woo, may not necessarily be into this subject. And
Right.
to claim these kinds of things, people definitely have certain feelings about that. So, and I get it.
And do you think that your stories bring up other people's feelings because it's an uncomfortable reminder of something that they've experienced, or just lays into the basic human defense systems of keep your hands off my body?
Yes.
That's fair.
I think all the above, honestly. I mean, because in that dream, that was definitely something. And I will tell you that after that, I was having a lot of nasal sinus issues right before then. And then directly after the pain and then having that dream, I did not have any problems then after, which I thought was amazing. And I was also experiencing a lot of situations where I was seeing things and experiencing things that other people could not be awake for. And when I say could not be, like the fire alarm going off and I couldn't get the person I was living with to wake up. Like that kind of thing.
Do you see why I didn't want to be in a room with her overnight?
Yeah. But then I've also seen actual UFOs, like legitimately, not like far off in the distance, like right up, like 20 feet away, kind of close up kind of things too.
She has lived in Arizona.
Yeah. Let's see. Once was in Arizona. Once was driving from Texas to Arizona. And the other one was in Egypt. Ooh.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Now, I do remember having an experience that was kind of inexplicable in that, driving across Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
And we were apparently in an area that was known for that. But coming from a military background, anything flying that's super fast or has weird lights or whatever is very easy to dismiss as some sort of secret military thing.
Which could be...
Especially at the bases I lived at.
Yeah. Like for me, one of the times was in the middle of the morning. Like it wasn't nighttime. It wasn't just lights blinking that I meant. Like it was like a solid, quiet thing that's hovering without support and not going anywhere.
Is this the time you were talking about that it was over the median?
Yes.
Like you were on your way to work?
I was on my way to work in the morning time and it was over the median. I was like, what the?
And your guides were like, just keep driving.
Yeah, that was literally, it's like, I should stop and try to get out my phone and take a picture. And I distinctly in my head was heard like, just keep moving. Like it's doing some kind of surveillance or something, like just keep moving. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep going. But I was always in these moments where it wasn't just me. And the other time I had my dad helping me drive.
Mm-hmm.
And he was asleep in the car because we were taking shifts driving. And he would have loved to have seen, like he's literally gone out trying to look for UFOs before. And I was trying to wake him up. I'm like, Dad, wake up. Like there's these things that are flying across back and forth across the road and
oh my gosh,
no sound whatsoever, like more than just one, 3 of them, zero sound. And we were driving directly underneath them and they were super close to the road. And I was trying to wake him up and he would not wake up until we had passed, far past and could not see
it
anymore. And then he woke up.
So they're kind of like, you want to be hit by a cosmic 2x4, but the people around you don't.
Right.
So we're going to make this for your viewing only.
That seems to be a lot of what it is. And then another one, I had a much longer interaction that was like 30 minutes long. I even took a nap because I got so tired and woke back up again, which I'm not going to fill in the blanks there of what anybody thinks might happen because I don't know. That's all I know. But what I'm going to say is that over a period of time, it wasn't like there was any one thing that was like, oh, yeah, definitely. It was kind of over a period of time. And I've even had other situations that are more like ghost-like in the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And that I came to realize, hey, maybe my interaction is way more interactive than what I think it is. And I've talked to people who have done alien tour, like not alien, UFO tours and things like that. And I've talked to them about my personal experiences where I've seen them way up close. And they've even said, like, you do realize that if you've had that many close-up encounters, the chances are that you are probably having other kinds of encounters. I'm like, yeah, I've come to this realization, I think.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So how would a person who's possibly listening know that they, or begin to realize that they've maybe had encounters? I know at one point we were talking and I related a weird experience in my life where I was super tired, bought a dress, went to a friend's house,
Yeah.
completely lost the dress, and lost the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah,
and
missing
just
time.
Found myself 5 hours later at my home, which was in a completely different town.
Without a dress.
Without a dress.
Yeah.
Never found that dress. And you were like, yeah, that's aliens.
Well, that's
And then
kind
I
of
was so
like
creeped out, I couldn't even talk about it until now. So, but what are
Yeah.
some other experiences? So missing time.
Missing time is a major one.
Waking up in the middle of the floor.
Waking up in the middle, especially if you're not a sleepwalker, like if that's not something that you do, right? Any kind of weird thing like that. Sometimes if you wake up and pretty consistently will have, I mean, not consistently that you're waking up doing this, but that like you'll notice there's like a scars on your body or like weird marks that end up that are not just like, hey, I brushed up against the side of my bed and like kicked myself or hit something while sleeping, like way more intentional than that. And I know that's a
Like
broad...
puncture marks.
Yes, like that kind of thing, especially in a shape. That would also be a thing that's pretty common. Let's see. Especially if you find something under your skin, like that would be a thing.
That looks like pencil lead. So then what would the next step for somebody to do? What would be the next step for somebody to do?
If you wanted to, you could do hypnosis. That would be a thing if you wanted to do regression. But if you're doing that, just be aware that
You might find out things you don't want to know.
yeah, like there is definitely that thing. I have come to accept this as being a part of me and that I'm okay with it. But that wasn't always the case, and that's not going to be the case for everybody either.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like for me, it's more friendly than that. And as a matter of fact, I would prefer at this point to have more of a face-to-face conscious interaction in a way that's not randomly in my living room or in my bedroom, so that it's not like an invasion of my space. Like, come knock on my door and I can open up the door. That would be different. Like, it would be scary for anybody to just, you don't know, randomly show up in your house out of nowhere. That would scare you, right? I don't want to be scared, but I do want to confront this in a real way. And so I have had hypnosis and things like that done. That would be a way of confronting it if you wanted to. Otherwise, I would say you can even make a deal and be like, hey, I don't want to know. And you can definitely ask for that to be a situation too. Like, if this is the deal, make me not remember.
And then it would be like one of those 5 different movies where somebody finds like one thing and then goes backwards trying to unravel what happened in their lives, only to come to the realization that they did all this so that they would forget.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the healthiest thing to do. I'm not necessarily saying that as a recommendation overall, but those are kind of the options, right?
What would be the benefit of aliens interacting with you?
So there are multiple benefits. There's a lot of people who talk about that it is a contract that you agreed to before you were born, that this was something that you're helping with, to assist with in some way, and that I always kind of see it as being a symbiotic situation where I'm helping them, but that they're also helping me. that either they're helping with my spiritual evolution or that, I mean, if I'm going to be helping them out physically, they should be helping me out physically. That's how I see it. Like, seriously, help me.
Mychal wants a mansion.
Well, no, I mean, with my health, like if I'm sick, man, help me get better. I know you have the technology. Make that happen. That's how I see it. But I mean, everybody deals with this differently. I would probably, I mean, obviously, if you're going to go get hypnosis, there are therapists who deal with that, who conduct this kind of hypnosis, who would be able to give therapy around the subject. But a lot of that kind of therapy is going to be around acceptance and how you feel about it.
And are there like 12-step I was touched by an alien support groups? I mean, I'm not kidding.
No, I know. I like how you said it. It's like, I was touched by an angel. It's like what goes into my mind. I know that there are support groups. I have not participated in them, so I cannot speak for that. I know that there are some. I don't know where to look on that. I'm sorry. I wish I had more information on that, but yeah.
All right. Well, this has been eye-opening. And
sorry.
I hope y'all enjoyed it. I am sort of feeling my skin creep off my body.
I've thoroughly creeped Suzanne out now. She's never going to let me stay over at their house ever again.
So what do we got queued up for next time?
Oh, man. It's going to be why.
For yes, no, she's going to train me on the using of a pendulum.
And my apologies, we went a little bit longer on this episode, but I hope you were entertained all the way through. We'll see you next time.
All the woo, A to Z.